Greetings. Welcome to another broadcast of I Have a Testimony. I'm your host, Brother Willie Muhammad.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
Today, family, we are honored to have a sister who I witnessed accept Islam as taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in our mosque here in the city of New Orleans. She helped to beautify our mosque after Hurricane Katrina. She has also helped with the work of the 10,000 Fearless in the city of Atlanta. And now she's in Chicago doing great things. She's a project manager, a designer, and a model, as you're going to see in this clip. So thank you, sister, for agreeing to be a guest on our show, Sister Wazira Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So I'd like to get straight into the interview. So first, let me express how proud I am of you and to see you accept Islam and in our city and to now see these pictures of you hugging the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and with Mother Khadija Farrakhan. It warms my heart. My question to you is, when you look back at where you began to where you are now, what are your thoughts and your feelings?
Gratitude. Coming from New Orleans, I was raised in a strict religious household, Christianity, and we all have to grow and get to a point where we accept God for ourselves. And Islam was my choice, is my choice. And so it's been the best decision that I've made for my life and my son as well. Yeah. So I'm grateful.
Praise be to Allah. That's a great spirit to have, And I know that you began coming to the mosque here in the city of New Orleans with some of the sisters who were here. And as I prepared for this actual interview, I could not recall ever hearing, your actual story of how you first heard about the teachings and then eventually decided to join and become a member of the Nation of Islam. So let me hear that story. How did it happen?
So the first time I ever heard about the Nation or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was from my brother-in-law. His name is Michael. And so when I would go by my sister's house, by their home, he would stop me at the door and he would vet me on who's Haile Selassie, who's this, who's that. So, I went one time and he was playing this tape. And I was still in high school. And I was like, who is that? And so he was like, that's Farrakhan. You don't know Farrakhan? And I was like, wow. I just sat and I listened. And I never remember even seeing my sister that day. After I listened, I got up and I left. Well, later when I was in college, Sister Keontae, Sister Wakiti, all of us was in college together. So we would talk about the teachings, talk about how to eat to live. We thought we was practicing how to eat to live, striving. And then I left and went away to college, to design school. So when I returned, registered, Sister Wakiti was registered, Sister Keontae was registered. And so, we came to the mosque. We would come visit. And during that time, we studied a lot. So even though I wasn't registered, we was all reading the books. we was all reading the book of femininity together, proper handling of people, just message to the Black man, how to eat to live, talking about the baby plane. So finally, it was when I got pregnant that I was like, okay, this is serious and I'm about to be a mother. And that's when I didn't join while I was pregnant. I waited until after I had the baby. But it was the sisters who guided me through that process, taught me how to breastfeed, literally came to the house and was like, okay, what did you eat today? And that entire process, like I was in the nation, the nation was with me, guided me, held my hand through it. And so I came in, I knew I was having a male child, and that in this world, there was no other place to raise a male and he be a strong Black male. So I knew I had to be serious, and that was it.
That's beautiful, sister. And wow, it's beautiful. And when we see, as we're going to talk about Brother Ilyas, we're going to see that decision was the right decision. Like many believers who they only experience practicing Islam in the city for the most part, in which they've actually accepted, right? And they live their whole Islamic lives in the city where they're joined. However, you've been blessed to live in fellowship with believers in several different cities. And so how has that helped and assisted you in your growth in Islam?
Tremendously. When I left New Orleans, I went to New York. And New York is completely different and rich with history and rich with, it's where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was. So that was such a beautiful experience. New Orleans definitely set my foundation to be a strong Muslim, to be grounded, to understand my role as a female and as a mother. New Orleans gave me that. Because I believe the believers there really were striving to implement the teachings, as far as the mother stayed home, cooked dinner, educated their children. This was back in, the 90s and 2000. So the believers in New Orleans, that's what I witnessed. That's how we were. If you didn't come to the mosque, even Sister Michelle, like she'd be waiting outside. I was just checking on you. So that was really grounding. And then when I got to New York, it was time to be soldier. And Sister Jana just was an excellent captain to prepare me and those who are there for that me specifically for my next phase. And being in a Vanguard class it is absolutely invaluable, that class. The training, the teaching, the toughness, anything that it comes with, that class is absolutely invaluable. And I encourage every female who is of age to participate in the Vanguard class. I left New York and then I went to Atlanta. And Sister Nusaba, who was Sister LaShonda at the time, soldier, and Student Minister Sharif. And that was just an absolute beautiful experience. There's no mosque or no city that I feel I can't live in, because we have a sisterhood and a brotherhood. And it really is a beautiful sisterhood and brotherhood, and the believers are absolutely beautiful.
Got to get Sister Nusaba on here as well. That's one of on my list. So on the flyer we use, part of the title it says project manager, and on your IG you have some pictures of yourself working and handling business. And to me, this goes against some of the ideas that people hold about women in Islam. So can you share how Islam, especially that which is taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, has empowered and does empower you as a woman, and has not restricted your gifts and your talents?
Oh, absolutely. Islam dignifies. So when we have Islam, we can go anywhere and we could do anything. I work in a predominantly male-dominated field. But how we're taught to our femininity, how we're taught to interact with the male, how we're taught to to deal and to interact with the male definitely helps in a male dominated field where when I started in this field, I was really young, and I've had really great teachers and trainers, but it's been Islam that has kept me grounded, that has allowed me to be myself, that has allowed me to be modest. I don't know if on one of those pictures you can say I have the hard hat on, but I have on a long shirt. In construction, with OSHA rules and stuff, sometimes you have to be mindful of loose clothing and things like that. But, we can still do it. And so it's just been a beautiful journey. Everything that I've learned in my class, everything that I have been taught and trained, it translates over to my business life because it's all discipline. It's all integrity, honesty, accepting your own, being yourself, so it definitely works.
How you went to designer school. We know that our mosque here in New Orleans was heavily damaged after Hurricane Katrina. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told me that our rebuilding would be better than our existence before Katrina. He said that this would be the case regarding our work in the city, but also he said the building itself will come back looking better than it had ever actually had. And you, with your skill as an interior decorator, helped us to accomplish such. So can you talk about how you helped us in the beautifying of our mosque after Hurricane Katrina?
So after Katrina, one thing I think people have to realize is that New Orleans was not back. We had very limited resources. We had curfews. And then the time to get certain products wasn't the same. So the brothers in New Orleans, I have to salute, because the brothers in New Orleans hold it down. Like, since I've been there, as far as, and we all have our journey in Islam where we go through different things, but as far as taking care of the mosque and making certain things happen, like the brothers have always been there. So it's Brother Jason had to meet me to go get the flooring in the pouring rain. I remember it was storming because we had a strict deadline and you would not push that deadline. And it was so fun because I wanted these other floors. And I was like, it's better. We could get them for a good price. But that deadline, and that's it. I learned a lot from that experience. But it was just the believers coming together and us rebuilding the mosque, which is our duty to do with our gifts and talents, whatever that may be. So it really was a team of us. But yeah, we just put it together, presented it. And then with the ideas that I believe, the visions that you had in some of the other believers, with how the kitchen should look and the open space and things like that. So we were able to just kind of spruce it up a little bit more. Yeah.
And you did it. It was the first time I started hearing about different percentage lighting, like shades of brown. I was like, oh, this brown looked the same. But when we had it, when I tell you, without fail, when people would visit our city, they will say, man, you all have one of the top mosque as it appears to the aesthetics of the beauty of the mosque in the Nation of Islam. And I was forever grateful for you doing it, because if it was been left up to us, we'd have just had some basic stuff on it. But you really helped us to beautify the mosque. So we're coming up on our first break, brothers and sisters, and we're here with our sister Wazira Muhammad, and she's sharing her testimony. But guess what? We have more exciting testimony from her. So make sure you tune in, tag somebody else, encourage them to tune in as well. And we'll be right back after these public announcements from our sponsors.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps us to highlight solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
Asiatic Minds. Online education. Helping our children to discover their God-given skills, gifts, talents, and passion that will allow them to see their greatness, as well as the greatness of our people. And upon discovering that greatness, infusing them with the desire to use it for the betterment of themselves, their families, our people, and the world. Call now, 502-219-4848.
This is Sister Sajda Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajda House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahouse.com.
The hashtag Bank Black social media campaign made strides not only in revolutionizing how we bank, but also how we think. The movement inspired thousands of African Americans across the country to transfer or deposit millions of dollars into Black-owned banks. These are banks that will invest in urban communities, employ African Americans, support Black businesses, and inspire Black home ownership. This is a very proud moment for our culture as we are taking small, but significant, steps towards building Black power through Black wealth.
Thank you for tuning in to NNV News. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Clifton Muhammad with NNVnews.com.
And so we're back, brothers and sisters, with our special guest, Sister Wazira Muhammad. So, you know, I had the honor of serving as the moderator for an online panel this past Savior's Day, which we done digitally because of this corona. And your son, Brother Ilyas, was one of the panelists, right? And he has really grown, and it is a joy to see him. And I remember him being a very active child here in the mosque in the city of New Orleans. So as a mother, how does it feel to see, you know, that he has made the choice to accept this way of life?
It's a blessing. Our children, well, you know, we taught that the Bible says, grow up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart. But we still have to be grateful to Allah. We have to call on Allah. We have to submit to Allah as parents, not do as I say, not as I do. We have to do so that they can follow our lead, inshallah. But we have to have complete faith in Allah that our children will choose to follow the Messiah. So I'm grateful.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what advice would you give to, you know, other parents who are raising children with those same hopes, or who are praying that their children will make the same decision at this present moment in their lives and even sometime in the future?
One of the things I'm going to say is that you have to have your children with you at the mosque. You have to immerse them in activities that they have to have the socializing skills to as Muslim children. When you go to study group, your children should be at study group. If you go into Savior's Day, your children should be at Savior's Day. So it was nothing that I did that I excluded him from. So he grew in Islam. He went out to do papers with the brothers, small. I helped with junior FOI class. They have to be immersed in Islam. And then we have to bring Islam home with us, practice it and make it fun and not so rigid, and not to be judgmental of our children. Some of us accepted Islam later in life. We made mistakes. We experimented with the world, and they may do some of the same, but not to judge them, not to be so hard and brutal when we see them making certain mistakes, just as we wouldn't want anybody to be that way with us, but to always encourage them, always remind them of the goodness of what we have, and to make it cool. When we make it cool, when we love and embrace what we have, then that's what they're going to see as they're developing. Not to talk ill of the believers when we have different disagreements or disappointments, things that we may not necessarily like. We shouldn't bring it home and let our children witness us say those types of things, because it's helping to form their minds and help them to develop judgments. And so when they have to go through things, when they have to go through disappointments and disagreements in the mosque, or they see the lesser of their sister or their brother, then then that's how they're going to deal with it. And they may decide, like, you know what, I don't want to be in the mosque.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, you've also been blessed to meet the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Mother Khadijah. And we're going to talk about, inshallah, both of those experiences. But let's start off first. If you can just share with us, the first time of meeting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan personally in the flesh?
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the first time I've met him, honestly, it's like the same thing every time. I'm never familiar with him or used to it because he is the Messiah. I mean, it's like, what do you say? What do you do? It's almost like being paralyzed. Like, somebody got to push you and say, Assalamu alaikum. So he has an energy that you can feel. He has a presence that you can feel before maybe you even see him. He radiates energy. He is a healer just on sight. His words, if he's shaking your hand, you literally can feel electrified. Anything Allah has permitted me to hear, to see, to witness, just to breathe the same air, you're transformed immediately. And we should never take that lightly, ever. So I'm never used to seeing him. I'm never common. I'm never like, oh, that's the minister, let me go run to the front. Like, I'm just like, if I'm not called, I don't go. But it's just a blessing just to get a peep. Like, wow, that's the minister. And so it's just a blessing. We are so blessed to be in a nation of Islam. We are so blessed to be in a nation of Islam.
Beautiful, beautiful. And in addition to that, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan constantly talks about one of the major contributing factors that have also played a role in him becoming the man that he is and is becoming is his wife, Mother Khadija Farrakhan. And I saw that you had a picture with Mother. So can you tell us about your first time meeting her and just, your takeaways, what you experienced and guidance that she may have given you?
Mother Khadija is the mother of our nation, first and foremost. Let me say that. And she is so beautiful. Her soul, her spirit, her warmth, just everything about her. Like when you're around a mother, and you could be the baddest child, and that mother is just so loving and just makes you feel so special. That's Mother Khadija. She's a wise woman. She's a businesswoman. She's raised, children. She's the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan through all of his stages and phases. And that means something. And we should be honored, and we should show the utmost respect to her family. The sacrifices that she has made for us is immeasurable. Some we may not even understand. And she's a woman made especially for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan by God himself, to be able to withstand and have the dignity and the grace and the just completely civilized, and to be able to teach us and to dress us. She dresses us with Noel apparel for our classes. And actually, she used to sew the garments, the Vanguard garment. There's just so much we can learn from Mother Khadija and her journey in Islam as being an example for us as women.
I'll go to this question. I know, I found this out right before before I got ready for this interview, Brother Vincent. Shout out to Brother Vincent, but Allah's the best knower. Brother Vincent said, the minister, you're interviewing Sister Wazira. I was like, yeah. He said, the minister gave her a shout out. I'm like, the minister gave her a shout out? Like when? He said, for the Criterion. I was like, what you mean? So I was told that you played a part in the decoration and the decor of that special day. Because I know there was a wedding later on, but when you see the videos, it's just heavenly, right? When you talk about heaven, I would imagine if that was some real place outside of the planet Earth, it would look something like that. Can you talk about that experience?
Yes. Sister BJ, Sister Betsy Jean Farrakhan, was like the director that day. I forget the official title. And then Sister Maria, of course, I'm on a team with Sister Maria Farrakhan. And the minister actually had a vision before like all the background scenes of, of what he saw. And so we were able to be a part of bringing that vision into reality. And you could actually, before the Criterion started, you could feel the spirit in the garden. Like it felt like we were standing on holy ground. And it was just so interesting how Allah works and moves, and how you have certain things that you don't even know why you have it, but it was for that particular time. There's just so much that happened during the Criterion, but it was all Allah, and I just got to be a part of it.
How did you feel when you heard him say your name like that?
I was shocked. It was a hot mic from my understanding, and it's unbelievable. Anytime the minister say something, because we see ourselves how we see ourselves, right?
It's true.
Just like, we're just a little helper. You getting up here, you doing the flowers, and But when you're around a minister, he makes you like it's like you become so much bigger, because he sees the way he sees things is not how we see things. How it says that his thoughts are from above and ours are from below or beneath. We have to change the way we think about each other, the way we see each other, the way, so it may be things that we feel like, oh my God, I just wish we could have this. I wish we could have that. I wish we could do it like this. But Allah already have the plan and have it laid out. And the minister is just so grateful and gracious, and you do something and he's just like, wow, this is so beautiful. He sees it. He sees things that we don't see. And so It's like, wow, me? Really? The Messiah?
Now you brought this up. I got to ask you. You talked about there was a meeting after that you wanted to share. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So that particular time for the Criterion was very big. Like it's so huge that from planning it to it happening afterwards, and now we have a year's pass where we got to see it again. So now we get to kind of see how it's unfolding even more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but during that time, we got a chance to sit with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, just a few of us, and workers, we were working. So he invited us to sit like students, and he asked us, what did we think? And so at this time, I had this thing where anytime the minister started talking about his departure or what would happen, when they have to come and get him and stuff, I mean, literally rage went into my body. I just, or sadness, because of when you think about he has to experience pain, that's painful to think about that. And he's so like, what has he done? And then the state, he's older now, and he's everything that he's had to endure with his physical body and the pain that he feels. So when you sit down and you actually think about it, it's hurtful. So I would literally beg Allah in my prayers, like, Allah, please, can you just take him? Do we have to go through this? So this particular time he goes through it, and I'm like, it's just so sad. It's just so sad. I feel like I'm like 5. And he said, yes, it's sad, but I'm made for this. I'm born for this, And he's like saying this to us, to me, but to us. And he goes into how Allah made him for the messenger. He wanted that the messenger made him. He loved, his spiritual father, but Allah made him. And so he talked about that, how his, Allah protected him in the womb of his mother, 3 times. And then how he told the messenger, dear Holy Apostle, you made me. And then the messenger said, no, I didn't. No. And so that actually, it healed me from having such baby type thoughts, because we have to prepare for his departure. And we have to be ready. And we have to be ready in a way that we don't crumble under pressure, that we can be united in this particular time. So I had to really digest that. And it was through the Criterion and then that moment when he said that, because I got to express how sad I feel when this happens, even for saviors that would just disconnect when he started talking about it, because it starts overwhelming my body, literally. And I said, okay, yes, sir. You know, in my mind, I didn't say that out loud.
Yeah, we got
in my mind, and I grew
from that.
Yes.
Praise. I think that's a good, because that's a real thought that many of us have. And we got to be honest, because we would not have those thoughts if we did not love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I thank you for sharing that. And I know it means so much to those who also have those same concerns. So we're coming up on our last break, brothers and sisters. And I know you all are enjoying this this testimony. I can see it in the comments. Thank you all for your support. We'll be right back after these announcements.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at National Network View. I am Willie Muhammad with nnvnews.com.
And we're back, and thank everyone who's tuning in and watching us right now. We're continuing with our interview with our sister Wazira Muhammad. And so we'll go to this next question. We open up with this video that shows you modeling, right? With demodesty, right? Am I pronouncing it right? Right. So can you talk with us about the clothing line, the designers, and just the overall intent of the clothing line? Because sometimes, I tell people, like, just because we accepted Islam, that doesn't mean that you lose your sense of style. So can you talk about that? The sound went up. You got it. Can you hear it? We see? Oh, it went. Brother Musa, what's happening with the sound? It looked like the sound went off. So we're working out these technical difficulties with our sister, and she will be, hopefully we get it and see what's up with the sound. But we're going to hear her response to this question, talking about just the modest clothing line. It's on Instagram. You can go to the actual website. I think it's demodest.com, if I'm not mistaken. And you can actually purchase it and basically check it out and see the styles and the fashion, and see how Muslim sisters are showing that style and that fashion. So I'm enjoying this interview, brothers and sisters, and our goal is to continue to build on this platform and continue to get more and more people to actually come back on as we continue to keep building, and get more and more people that we haven't interviewed thus far to give their testimony about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So our guest is waiting to come back on. She's working on it. Until then, we're going to continue to keep at it. But I pray, and we thank all of those who are commenting. We see your comments. We see Sister Margaret Dixon, Ebony Muhammad. Thank you for joining us. We see Sister Sajda, Wendy Muhammad of Sajda House. You saw the actual promotional commercials. And we see our brother Abdul Qiyam Muhammad, who played an essential role in us even developing this actual testimony, so developing this actual testimony. So brother Musa, we back? Okay, we're back. We good, sis?
Can you hear me?
All right, we can hear you now. So tell us about the clothing line and the overall intent behind it.
So Demodest is our national MGT captain came up with an idea to start a business with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we have our own clothing line, The Modest. And so it's made for the modest woman. It's made to tailor our lifestyle. We look good in it, and it has the proper coverage that we need. It's athletic wear, so we can work out in it. We can go to a meeting in it. I use them. I go to meetings in my outfits. I work out in them. It's comfortable. It looks good. I have one on right now, black and gold, representing New Orleans.
Wow. And so in addition to that as well, and what's the website for those, the website and the Instagram for those who are watching?
It's www.themodest.com.
Okay. And so those who are watching, make sure you go there and support and check it out. And these are garments that can be worn, outfits that can be worn, not just by sisters in the Nation of Islam. She said it's for the modest woman. Now, you also spent time in Atlanta working with our brother, the Southern Regional Student Minister, Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad, with the 10,000 Fearless. So just what were some of your memories from your time spent there working with him and others who put together with that effort?
The 10,000 Fearless was an instruction given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I believe at 10/10/15, that brother Student Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad moved out on and implemented within a certain area of the city that was known as the Bluff, which was one of the worst parts of the city that you could actually go to, and conducted trainings and teachings to the community on how the proper handling of people, how to deal with our people. One of the things at the 10,000 Fearless that I remember, this was something. There was a sister that came from the community, and she had been dealt with very badly, like beaten up or something. And there was a sister there, Sister Alicia, who took her to the back, washed her up, cleaned her up, made her face up. And that sister just felt so beautiful. And that type of heart. And sometimes our sisters and brothers from the community may not, smell so well. And the love that they receive in that particular building is really priceless. It's really, they give food, they feed the community like twice a week. Over 200 people, they would be lined up. They would give them hugs and food and clothing. And then the camaraderie of the believers coming together to share that love. The meetings that would be had in regards to businesses, as you see there, that's the LOC. They would have, which is the local organizing committee that was reestablished for 10/10/15. Beautiful people that love the minister from all walks of life, from different faiths. People come to help and assist. People have gotten off of alcohol, drugs. They have assistance programs where they may direct them to get drug rehabilitation or assistance with their housing, or like I said, the food. So it's just they would have a community baby shower. That's Saber would host. I mean, it's really, really beautiful to be a part of that.
Praise be to Allah. And, the title of this show is I Have a Testimony, and is also inspired by the verse in the book of Revelation when it says that the dragon was defeated by the blood of the Lamb and the power of their testimony. And we want to give people an opportunity to learn about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in a way that is not often portrayed or captured in the media by his and our enemies. From your time around the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, your study of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, if there were 3 qualities that you could stand before the world and testify about him, what would be those 3 qualities and why?
Wow, beautiful question. One of those qualities would be number one for us here in America and abroad. The minister is a defender. He's our defender. He has defended us and the teachings throughout the entire world. He has uplifted Master Fard Muhammad, the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, with great dignity and strength, unwavering commitment. He's a man of integrity. He's not a liar. They cannot prove him to be a liar of anything that he said. And faithful. The minister is to his teacher. He's just so faithful and dedicated. And back to being a defender, as far as being a woman, he defends women all over the world. We could say the Black woman. Of course, we know that because we Black women, we in the MGT and GCC class, but women all over the world who have suffered at the hands of the enemy, at the hands of debauchery, being deflowered, being with sexism, with anything. The minister has defended us, and the teachings uplifts us. It dignifies us. Us covering does not make us weak or oppressed. We're very free women. And so that's the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Now I've seen this picture before, and I ran through all of our questions, so I got to ask you some other questions, but you'll be good. There's this picture of the MGT, and they're in these beautiful pastel garments, and you were there in Atlanta. Can you give us just the context behind this picture?
Yes, this is when the MGT and GCC was allowed to go out in the community and go door to door and speak with our people. This was leading up to 10/10/15. So we were allowed to wear our beautiful pastel colors and go out amongst the world and invite them out to 10/10/15 to see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, what we were doing at that time, we went to places, we were actually in Tuskegee on the outskirts. And we actually encountered little children and people who had not seen the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And that was very hurtful to me. And I was like, wow, we got to do better. We got to do more. And it was such a beautiful time. Like, people were really excited to see us, to hear from us, and to hear about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So that was leading up to 10/10/15.
Wow. That's something, man. And those pictures, when I first saw them when they came across the internet, it was just beautiful to actually see. And we see our sister standing there in the front, our sister, the Southern Regional Sister Captain, Sister Nusaba Muhammad, so just a straight soldier. Can you talk about our sister and just her as a person?
Sister Nusaba is exciting.
Nusaba, there we go.
Nusaba, yeah. She's exciting. She loves the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. She's a soldier. So, she's always in detail mode. She believes in making Islam a production. So class is always exciting, or, whatever she encounters. So working with somebody like that, you always on. You always got to be ready. And in a Vanguard class, we was trained to always have a uniform on deck in your car, on hand. So because you never know if you're going to get a call, and you have to, shoot out and be present. And so that's Sister Nusaba.
Wow, beautiful, man. May Allah continue to bless her. And that meant so much to me when I saw her and yourself and other sisters that actually traveled to the city of New Orleans for brother Brandon's services, who, the former husband of Sister Trina. And I think it says a lot to be there for somebody at a time of loss. So I thank her, and I also thank you all as well, and the sisters that travel with her. So we're coming up on our last break. We're going to have about 15 minutes more in this interview. I'm glad that you all are enjoying it. We'll be back with our Sister Wazira Muhammad. Peace.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cash App NNV News.
Asiatic Minds, online education, helping our children to discover their God-given skills, gifts, talents, and passion that will allow them to see their greatness as well as the greatness of our people. And upon discovering that greatness, infusing them with the desire to use it for the betterment of themselves, their families, our people, and the world. Classes begin September 1st. To enroll, visit AsiaticMinds.com. Greetings from National Network View. This week's Final Call cover story headline reads, "Separate and Be Saved. America's race problems and deadly race interactions are growing worse. It is time we leave the children of our former slave masters and 400-year-old tormentors. Separation from whites is the only and best solution to this problem, a serious problem that is rooted in prophecy." This FCM volume number 41 edition middle page article by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is entitled "A Case for Separation." To read more, subscribe to finalcalldigital.com and tune in to the all-new Final Call Radio. This is the nnvnews.com Final Call cover report.
He anointed our head with oil till our cup runneth over. He who, Master Farrakhan, Muhammad, that is he.
This is Sister Sajda Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajda House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahouse.com.
Please make sure you leave your comments and questions in the comment section below. Follow us on Facebook, National Network View, and make sure to check us out on Twitter as well, National Network View. This is Sergio Gutierrez with National Network View, signing off.
We're back, brothers and sisters, for the final segment of this interview with our sister Wazira Muhammad. And I know we talked about, you saw the actual promo for our sister Wendy Muhammad's, the work that she's doing with Sajda House. And I saw that you had the coin. Can you talk about that?
I do. This copper coin is from the actual copper that was in the home with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's a beautiful coin. And it also is a fundraiser for Sajda House. Excuse me.
That's her assistant. We got it. And for those who are actually watching, you saw the commercial that Sajda House is a big supporter of NNV, and she also takes out promotional commercials, what I would say. So make sure you definitely support the work that our sister is doing. You want to add more about the coin and just the whole effort of sister?
I just wanna stress emphasis on supporting our own and the endeavors that we have. Final Call Radio, Sajda House, which is going to be a museum where we can come and see our own. I also have something else I want to show.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
If we don't have this, the box set, we have to get it. And I'm going to suggest we get it now. It's going to come a day and time we're going to wish that I understand streaming is a big deal, but this box set is filled with so many jewels. There's a book in here, and this is ours. So we should all have one of these. We should encourage our family to get one of these. And creating environments of peace, creating environments of healing. These are things that we can use to have. One day this copper coin is going to be worth something too. Not that we may want to get rid of it, but we know that the dollar is going to fail. It's failing. It's fiat money. But these types of things that are our own, that allows us to do certain things, we should have it and take pride in it. And this is so beautiful. I have a favorite, the Meditation of Thais. So
I'm gonna tell you my favorite. My favorite is with that track with Rick Ross.
I
And
quite like that.
yeah, listen, ooh, I like that. I like that with the Rick Ross, the boss on there. And just to hear, I just like hip hop music. And I see our brother Abdul Kiyan posted the link to those who are interested in getting the box set that our sister just mentioned in the actual comments. As we have in the last closing minutes of this interview, Sister Wazira, what advice would you give to sisters who may be watching this interview that are not in the Nation of Islam, and depending on who they came into contact with or what they read online about the Nation of Islam, they're not all the way clear on, should this be a place that, or should this be something that they should be a part of, or may not even be clear on the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? What would you say to them?
I would say run home, which is in the Nation of Islam. Accept your own and be yourself. In the nation, we have a sisterhood. It's no better sisterhood out there than the one that we have in the Nation of Islam. The teachings, how to sustain our lives, how to conduct ourselves, how to act at home and abroad. We look good when we strive to implement the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We experience peace in our lives, no matter what we may be going through. And just knowing ourselves, understanding our duties to Allah, understanding our duties to self, understanding our nature. MGT class and FOI classes is really like a class, a nature class, I always say, because we're discovering ourselves really for the first time. There's no class that's going to give us that. How to cook, how to keep house, how to rear our children, especially in a world like this. How do we get past some of these things that we're dealing with? How to take care of our husbands. We actually have a workbook on how to take care of our husbands. And it puts us in a very wonderful position when we have knowledge and tools that we can use that helps to bring about healing, that helps to bring about the best of ourselves and each other. So I would say, don't listen to it, come experience it for yourselves. And we are a hospital. We are not perfect. We are striving. So we're going to rub up against each other, but we have means and methods. We have ways of how we deal with things. And that's the key. It's not that we're not going to have problems, but it's how we resolve the problems, how we speak to one another. And if we can't handle it just with ourselves, then we get a mediator. So we have dignity, and we're Muslims. We handle things like Muslims, and Muslims is one who submits his or her will to do the will of Allah.
Praise be to Allah. And this final question I'll add, going back to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, what would you say when you're looking at your life have been some of the, well, I'll ask you this. What are some of your most memorable moments as a Muslim?
Accepting. I remember the night I accepted because I didn't want to come, because you used to make such a big deal out of everybody. And I was like, okay, I want to go on Wednesday when nobody is there. And Sister Lenora cried, and Brother Brian was there. And then my first holy day, where he was like, are you going? Because Sister Wakiti and I, it's very good friends. And then her husband, Brother Brian, was the captain in New Orleans at that time. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go because whatever. He was like, no, pack your things. We're picking you up. And they literally picked me up. I had no tickets. He gave me all of his tickets so she and I could go to everything. And just the spirit of that, when you think about it, was just being Muslims. And then Sister Keontae, I cannot not talk about Sister Keontae, because Sister Keontae, I was like her fish, kind of. And she was such a nurturing yet strict kind of trainer. Like, she had real strict ways, but then she was just very, very beautiful. And so when you have someone like that, when you first come in, we would study together, get books together, you going to the mosque tonight, I would be there. And then how you kind of guide a person to stay away from certain things, but without killing the good of somebody else. She just was a beautiful person to have. And I love her forever and ever for the role that she played in my life during that time. She even named Ilyas.
Yeah, I'm in the city. I didn't even know that. And lastly, I know I said we had, that was the last question, but when you look, what would you say has been is becoming like some of the greatest impacts of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on your life? And shout out to Sister Wakiti and Sister Kiana and everybody who's watching as well.
The greatest impact on my life?
From the minister.
From the minister is actually, there was a moment when I realized I wasn't the same. And this was years ago. Everybody's on farming right now. And I was in New Orleans. I was living in New York, but I came to New Orleans to visit, and I was driving around. And New Orleans is a place where everybody got to be shy, you know, and stuff. And so I was different people, and they was asking me different stuff, you know, about clothes and this and that. And I was like, you know, I'm trying to figure this farm thing out. And it was at that moment I was like, I am Farrakhan's woman. Like, I'm no longer a woman of this world. I have crossed over. So that's a funny kind of one, but really when our mindset completely changes and we no longer attracted to worldly things anymore. We may like nice things, but when you could walk away from it all, that's how you really know, like, you know what, it's not appealing anymore. And you really do get to that stage as long as we stay connected, studying, stay in the process, no matter what. I'm telling you, if you're a female and you between 16 and 36, that Vanguard class is your class. I just can't say it enough, because it makes you into something else. It makes you, it means foremost, but you got to be committed and dedicated and studied, and the training is invaluable. And so you take it throughout your life. And so I have to forever thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for reestablishing these classes for us.
Praise be to Allah. Well, thank you, sister, and we appreciate your testimony and what you shared. If you get the opportunity to go back, you can see the rebroadcast on Facebook and also on YouTube, and you can see the comments that everybody is sharing. They're definitely enjoying, and it's a bearing of witness to what the scripture says about the power of your testimony. So give your family the greetings, give your husband the greetings, tell them that invitation is still on the table. Get them in, and give everybody the greetings there from us here in the city of New Orleans. May Allah continue to bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So for those who are watching, once again, we thank you all for tuning in to I Have a Testimony. And we encourage you as we go through our announcements. We are still in this effort of paying off the building here in the city of New Orleans. You know, it's still here. We want to put to rest this mortgage, and we can burn that mortgage and use those funds that we're paying to a black bank to begin to start enhancing our building and also doing other services for the community, because we have many that we actually want to do as well. In addition to this, we're having our people, and we're talking about this COVID, and they're putting a lot of pressure on people when they're talking about this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And we know that that's not true. And some people are faced with losing their jobs because they don't want to take the vaccine. But people have also lost people to COVID, and people have also lost people to taking the actual vaccine itself. So whatever it may be related to COVID or not, if you need someone to give a prayer on your behalf, brothers and sisters, please submit your information, and we will definitely do that. I don't know if we have the slide with the various books that I have, but if not, we're good. But thank you all for tuning in. There it is. So your brother has some books, you know, our website, www.mos46.org. Support, you know, I have a book that's dealing with your message for first year teachers, how to study. You can get all of these books on Amazon. So please go out and check them out, and may Allah continue to bless each and every one of you all. And make sure you tune into NNV throughout the week. Subscribe and support. It's our news network. So may Allah continue to bless each and every one of you all. Peace.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cash App NNV News.